All right, Fightful Faithful, welcome back to a brand new video here today, an interview today with the one, the only, the OTT World Champion, Sammy D. And how are you getting on today, Sammy?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thanks for having me on. Happy to be here. Happy to have a chat.
Um, so we're just going to get straight into the questions then. First question, obviously, you have been OTT World Champion for almost a year now, closing in on the record for the longest single reign with the championship. And as someone who's been with OTT since the very first show, what does that mean to you?
I mean, for anyone in Irish wrestling, European wrestling, um, being the champion, being the OTT World Champion is an ultimate achievement. I've done it all in OTT. I was the first ever Grand Slam champion, but to win the World Championship the way I did on Paddy's weekend in front of 2,000, sold out National Stadium. I mean, it means everything. And carrying the belt, carrying the company, it's a huge responsibility, but something I love doing and I'm very proud of.
And obviously, the most recent title defense you did have was at the local Rumble, and that was with Flash Morgan Webster. And after the match, after the match, you did make sure to say to Joe, "I do want an Irish opponent." You wanted an Irish opponent. How important is that for you? For you, is it to compete not with the imports that are brought in, but the lads who've been around OTT for a long time and are Irish trained talent?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would agree that the Irish talent pool is mega, and it's grown, and the lads coming out of the School of Irish Wrestling and other schools around the country, it's unbelievable. So,
Yeah,
it took me an awful long time to get to the level of opportunity where you can compete for top championships. And I want to give that opportunity to lads who deserve it and are grinding, and not people that are willy nilly coming to OTT when it suits them. I think before COVID, like obviously OTT was a different company in some ways, and we relied an awful lot on imports and the power of having imports. But I mean, since COVID, I think the Irish talent have really stood up and took it on themselves to be the
yeah,
backbone of OTT and Irish wrestling. So to answer your question, I
yeah.
think there's lots of lads there that deserve an opportunity. When I won the championship, I went down on a limb. I said I wanted Irish talent. I wanted a new era of OTT, and unfortunately, maybe Joe doesn't see it that way, but
Yeah.
I know an awful lot of Irish fans and Irish wrestlers see it that way.
Yeah, I understand that completely. And just while we're still talking about the local rumble, obviously Jay, fellow member of the draw, he was the Iron Man in the match. He didn't get to the end and win, but you did know the winner quite well in Be Cool. You have a history with Be Cool in numerous ways, and you, as I said, you did call for it, you did hope for it, you did say you're going to go to Gaff Party, you're going to defend against Trent Seven, and then you're going to come back to Ireland and defend at Scrappermania. And what does that mean? What does it mean to you to face off with someone like Be Cool, who you have that history with in the main event, the Scrappermania, the biggest show of OTT's calendar? What does that mean to you personally?
I mean, both fellow draw members. I know Be Cool has maybe been in there by circumstance, but
By association, yeah.
yeah. But I think first of all, Jay, Danny Cross is a phenomenal talent. I think there's only upwards for where he's going in his career, and I'm sure his time will come.
Absolutely.
His time will come to be in the World Championship picture. Maybe it just wasn't his time right now, but for Be Cool, me and Be Cool started training together 15, 16 years ago in a small school in Bray. I know him a very, very long time. And to be able for two of us who have broken together and worked alongside the whole way from wrestling in front of 20 people, 10 people, 60 people to 200 people, and then to be able to main event the biggest show of the year in front of 2,500 people in the stadium would be a massive achievement for us both. But I think it would also, with the history we have, it would mean an awful lot more. And obviously, when it comes down to it, it's for the World Championship. So any friendships or connection goes out the window when the bell rings.
Yeah, of course, as ever. And just to kind of keep that theme kind of going, there are some talents on the OTT roster that some people might not really have come across that often. They haven't had as much time in the ring or so on and so forth. And I'm just wondering, who would you say is someone that in 2024 is going to kind of reach that extra tier of kind of the Irish and UK wrestling scene, and is going to kind of just capture the attention, because obviously you've been around for a long time in the scene. So I'm just curious what you think of the younger talent. Like I did say, Jay, we were just saying about Jay, Danny Cross, absolutely phenomenal young talent. And I'm just wondering if anyone else has caught your eye personally.
I mean, there's a couple of guys there that, stand out to me. Obviously, Jay, I think he's going to have a standout year 2024. But then you have other guys coming in that are really coming into their own. The likes of Limo, I think he's getting better and better every time he steps in the ring. And he's getting more popular with the fans. And, he seems to be getting more momentum behind him. He's fun to watch. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this year. Other than that, I think, we have Matthew Bullet Smith, who has just won the tag team championships with Sean Guinness and Maxer. I mean, them as a tag team, I think I've watched their last couple of matches, and they could go in the ring with any tag team across the world and knock it out of the park. I mean, I think they just look crisp. I think they've really come into their own the last few months as a tag team. They look like a natural pairing. I think they've a big year ahead of them. But Matthew, being a younger guy, obviously Sean's been around for a very long time and a phenomenal talent. Sometimes overlooked, but I can tell you he probably is the most crisp wrestler in this country, and has been for a very long time. But I think with the tutelage that Maxer can give Matthew going forward, I think that tag team can be anywhere in the world. Or that you guys coming up there, you got Big Boots. I think he has an amazing look about him. Fantastic big guy, works really well. Then you got other guys, Keen Noonan coming in. There's a list that goes on and on of guys who really are coming through. And there's guys there that have been around for a long time, and maybe you're just finding their niche, finding their spot on the card. You got the likes of BDE. Josh, I know, is only new to the Irish scene, but Fabulous Nicky's been around for a long time. But sometimes it takes a long time for it to click, and for something to click with the audience or with yourself. And I think BDE look like they're very, very entertaining, and maybe it's just their time to rise. And so there's a lot of great talent. There's a lot of excitement around the locker room. Everyone's hungry. I think now more than ever, it's come to the point where there's spots opening up and there's rotation happening in OTT, and it's a great time for a young wrestler in Ireland, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you there. It's a brilliant time to be an Irish wrestling fan, an Irish wrestler. So just to round back to the draw, so in the latter half of last year, you and Charlie Sterling, it got a little bit tense between you two. You guys did team together at 9th anniversary, faced off with Grizzled Young Veterans in a highly tense match, I will say. And then you guys did, of course, have the OTT World Title match along with the leadership of the draw on the line. And just kind of wondering, was that a big title defense for you in regard to the fact that it was a long-term story and a long-term match, it being in the plans, if you get me?
Yeah, I mean, me and Charlie are very close friends, and we have been for a long time. But that match was an intense build-up, because something that we've built together, something that me, Jay, Charlie, and flex of build together. It kind of felt like it
Yeah.
was slipping away. But at the end of the day, we all want to be the top guy, and we all want to be world champion. And if you can walk away from these kind of matches with the draw intact,
Yeah.
that's what we wanted to do. Well, I wanted to do, but it's unsure when you get in there and you beat the piss out of each other for 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, But Charlie earned a spot there. Charlie
Yeah.
is one of the best, if not the best, wrestlers in Europe. Probably one of the best unsigned talents in the world. And if you can see that every time he goes out there, he leaves it all in there, and he's to share the ring with him was fantastic. And we wrestled an awful lot when we were younger together against each other, but it's been a long time, and I think for us, both of our levels have gone up significantly.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a massive test to wrestle Charlie, and to be able to beat him, obviously, was a massive boost for me.
I can imagine, definitely, and like we have been saying over and over again, the Irish scene is absolutely catching fire. And obviously, there's a couple of names that have crossed over into the mainstream. Obviously, you've got your Becky Lynch, you've got Sheamus, you've got Finn Balor, you've got Jordan Devlin, now known as JD McDonough. You actually have a history with in the ring, and I'm just wondering, because obviously with JD, he did start off in NXT UK. With obviously the talks of NXT Europe and possibly coming to Europe, obviously, would that be something that you'd be interested in? Or are you like I did when I was speaking to Jay? He did say that even if he does leave OTT, he's always going to want to come back, and he'll always come back. So I'm just wondering if you share that kind of mindset.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like any of us, the end goal should be, to sign for WWE or, AEW or TNA or New Japan. Like, I mean, it'd be naive of us to all sit here and say, we want to be, at independent level. I mean, for me personally, I want to sign the dotted line for WWE and say, I've done it,
Yeah.
So obviously, I've achieved a massive amount with OTT and independent. I've had a massive independent career, but I'm sure, the next step for me would be if the opportunity arose to sign for NXT Europe or whatever's in the pipeline. But as Jay said, and I will say that OTT will always be my home. I would hope to be able to wrestle for them as long as I can. And I'd always end up back in OTT no matter what happens, So I think that sentiment is shared between me and probably the rest of the lads. I'm sure Jordan feels the same way. I know that for a fact that he misses OTT, he misses the Irish fans, and OTT is a special place, and you could talk to an awful lot of imports that have been through the doors of OTT that would say that they have a special place. You look at the Pete Dunnes and the Tyler Bates and the Walters, just for example, they all talk so highly of OTT and OTT management and the way they were treated and looked after, and the Irish wrestling fans. They're probably one of the best fan base in the world. So, of course, wherever I go or lay my hat, OTT will always be my home.
As expected from someone who's been there for so long. Just kind of rounding back to what we were saying about imports versus homegrown. Obviously, Trent Seven was not able to compete at local Rumble, and that was because Flash Morgan Webster coming in. You're scheduled to go to Wolverhampton. You're going to England. You did say at the local Rumble you're going to chase them down. You're going to beat them and all that. After the local Rumble and after Scrappermania, is there really any goals in sight for you for the draw in 2024 past that?
I mean, I said it a few weeks ago at the start of the year. I had an interview and I was talking about the draw. I think the draw this 2024, we had a massive 2023. And 2024, I think it's time for the individual talent in the draw to flourish and find their
Yeah.
own feet. The draw will always be a thing, will always be a unit. But for the likes of Jay and Be Cool and Charlie and Flex, I think we can all go our separate ways and still be our unit. You know, I think for Jay
Yeah.
this year, I think this year is going to be major for Jay, and I think he needs to find his own feet, and I think he already has done. So, and then obviously you look at Be Cool, going into this WrestleMania main event. I mean, it's you look at the five guys in the draw. You know, we could all be top to bottom on the card, and in main matches on each show. So I think the main goal for me is to continue on the path as world champion, carry the company as best as I can, have as many good matches as I can with as much homegrown talent as possible, and try elevate people. You know, that's my goal for 2024. But for the lads, I would say that as a unit but separate, we will all move forward with a successful 2024.
Just gonna ask just one more question before I let you go. In terms of
You have to break it up there. I think your connection is lost.
at the moment.
Simon, you have to repeat that. I did not get a word of that question.
Sorry. Just in terms of dream matches, you did mention a couple of guys there, former OTT world champion, or it's like Gunther, like Devlin, all so much. And I'm just wondering, in terms of a dream match, a match that you'd like to see happen in the next year or two, 3 years, so on. Is there any that catch your eye right now that you'd like to have a singles match with?
I mean, I look back at the OTT shows, and I look at like the talent pool that they had and where they are now, and like to be in the title picture at that time would have been very different, you know. So I mean,
Yeah.
I would have loved to have a match, not a wrestle, have a match with the likes of Pete Dunne, and you know, obviously Walter. Look at these guys now, and I see them on TV, and they're phenomenal talent. And it's unfortunate the time wasn't right, and I didn't get to get in there with them. I would love again down the line to be able to step in there with Jordan and go again. We've had a lot of time in the ring, wrestling, and also training. So I would like to see how I fare against him well now, because he's just phenomenal. You know, he's a different breed. So yeah, I'd love to get into them guys, but right now I'm looking forward to getting in there, and you know, with some new talents, and yeah, I'm excited about the future for the likes of the guys who are training and working hard week in, week out in the country, you know.
Yeah. So just before we finish off, I'm just going to throw it to you. Obviously, OTT have a couple of events coming up. We've got Showdown Sheriff Street, and you do have the pair of Gaff Party events, Scrapper Mania, and so forth. So just anything else that you want to just let people know to check you out at, and so on and so forth?
No, we've got big couple of shows coming up. We have Sheriff Street, as you said. It's a first time event in that venue. It's going to be fun. Then we have the big weekend in March, Gaff Party, in 3 different cities over 3 nights. And so, yeah, I think obviously January has been, other than the local rumble, and February has been quite slow maybe for Irish wrestling, but I think in the next few weeks there's lots and lots of shows across the country. So I'd say to anyone who has been to a show before, or maybe hasn't been to a show before, to get out and you know, get to a show and start supporting Irish wrestling. It's amazing. It's an amazing time for Irish wrestling. It's a boom time in wrestling worldwide. So yeah, it's exciting again. Wrestling's exciting across the board again, and you know, I'm very, very proud and happy to be part of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a busy few months.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us here today, Sammy. For the Fightful fans, if you are new to Fightful Overbooked, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Like for more interviews. I will be back with more interviews with Irish talent in the coming days, and I will see you guys next time.
Thanks, mate.